This is Barry Zalma speaking for Claim School Incorporated's blog, Zalma on Insurance. Today we're going to speak about the covenant of good faith and the equitable remedy of rescission, starting with the history of the equitable remedy of rescission. The covenant of good faith and fair dealing was first reported in 1766 in the British House of Lords in a case called Carter v. Boehm, SC 1BL 593, 3 Burr 1906, decided on 11th May 1766, when Lord Mansfield decided against the insurer, who claimed he was deceived by the insured because the insurer was, in fact, not deceived and knew more about the risks than did the insured. Lord Mansfield noted that the policy broker who produced the memorandum given by the governor's brother, the plaintiff and insured, to him, and the use made of these instructions was to show that the insurance was made for the benefit of Governor Carter and to insure him against the risk of taking of the fort by a foreign enemy. The insurer contended that the plaintiff ought to have discovered the weaknesses and absolute indefensibility of the fort. In this case, as against the insurer, he was obliged to make such a discovery, though he acted for the governor. Lord Mansfield noted that the special facts upon which the contingent chance, that is, the reason for insurance, is to be computed, lies mostly and commonly in the knowledge of the insured only. The underwriter trusts to his representation and proceeds upon confidence that he does not keep back any circumstances in his knowledge to mislead the underwriter into a belief that the circumstance does not exist and to induce him to estimate the risk as if it did not exist. Keeping back such circumstances is, Lord Mansfield concluded, a fraud. Therefore, a policy would be void. Even if the suppression of material facts should happen through mistake, without any fraudulent intention, yet still the underwriter is deceived and the policy is void because the risk run is really different from the risk understood and intended to be run at the time of the agreement. The policy would equally be void against the underwriter if he concealed, as if he insured a ship on her voyage which he privately knew to have arrived, and an action would lie to recover the premium. Good faith forbids either party, by concealing what he privately knows, to draw the other into a bargain from his ignorance of that fact and his believing the contrary. The policy insured against the risk of the loss for Fort Marlborough from being destroyed by, taken by, or surrendered unto any European enemy between the 1st of October 1759 and the 1st of October 1760. It was underwritten on the 9th of May, 1760. The underwriter knew at the time that the policy was to indemnify to that amount Roger Carter, the governor of Fort Marlborough, in case the event insured against should happen. Lord Mansfield noted that the underwriter, who knew Carter to be the governor at the time he took the premium, and the plaintiff proved without contradiction that the fort was only intended and built with an intent to keep off the country, and that the only security against European ships of war consisted in the difficulty of the entrance and navigation of the river for want of proper pilots, that the general state and condition of the fort and of the strength thereof was in general well known by most persons conversant or acquainted with Indian affairs, or the state of the company's factories or settlement, and could not be kept secret or concealed from persons who should endeavor by proper inquiry to inform themselves. The computation of the risk depended upon the chance whether any European power would attack the place by sea. If they did, it was incapable of resistance. The underwriter at London in May of 1760 could judge much better of the probability of the contingency than Governor Carter could at Fort Marlborough in September of 1759. He knew or might know everything which was known at Fort Marlborough in September of 1759. The contingency, therefore, which the underwriter insured against was whether the place would be attacked by a European force, and not whether it would be able to resist such an attack if the ships could get up the river. Lord Mansfield found there was no imputation upon the governor as to any intention of fraud. The reason for the rule against concealment is to prevent fraud and encourage good faith. If the defendant's objections were to prevail, Lord Mansfield concluded the rule of concealment would be turned into an instrument of fraud. The underwriter here, knowing the governor to be acquainted with the state of the place, knowing that he apprehended danger, and must have ground for his apprehension, being told nothing of either set of facts, signed the policy without asking a question. Lord Mansfield, therefore, found that the ethical underwriter, with knowledge of the risk being taken equal to or better than that of the person insured, could not in good faith claim that material facts were concealed from him, because utmost good faith required the underwriter to use his superior knowledge to favor the insured. Therefore, the attempt at rescission failed. Simultaneously, the 1766 decision setting forth the covenant of good faith and fair dealing implied in every contract of insurance has survived to this day as an effective tool for insurers to defeat attempts at insurance fraud. And the marine rule, first enunciated by Lord Mansfield, that a misrepresentation or concealment of material fact, whether intentionally or innocently made, is a basis for rescission if the underwriter, the risk-taker, was deceived. In this case, of course, the underwriter wasn't deceived. It was the governor who was deceived, and therefore the claim was required to be paid. This video was adapted from my blog, Zelma on Insurance, which is available free to anyone who clicks on the URL zelma.com/blog. You can subscribe to the blog and you will be advised of every blog posting, usually one a day, 5 days a week, sometimes 6. And if you subscribe, you'll have access to all 4,500 and more blog postings. You can also subscribe to the videos on YouTube and on rumble.com, also free. And if you found these videos or the blog to be useful, please tell your friends and colleagues so that they also can subscribe. And if you wish, I would suggest you might also consider, for a very small fee, to subscribe to my Locals channel or my Substack publications for more detailed information about insurance, insurance law, and insurance claims. Thank you for your attention.